done, Lee Elberson. We're going to have a good time today on Real Talk. I have a feeling this is going to be a very lively Real Talk, don't you?
My hope is it will.
It's going to be awesome.
You want to tease who we have in the house there? Executive producer?
Executive producer. Ooh. Yeah. I have a formal title. Yeah.
It goes to his head is the problem.
I know.
It goes to his head. And Jonas said, let's not let anything else go to this man's head.
I just don't want to play anymore.
Keith Smith brought us some toys.
We got toys on the thing. So we've got two rock stars here. We got Lee Elberson and Alexandra, and I will probably mess up the last name, so I'll let you say that.
Washura.
There you go. And we're just going to have fun. Lee's a fellow brother Marine, and we when did we meet? We met at Leadership Charlottesville. What year was that? 16 maybe?
I think he might have been 17.
17.
Yeah.
He's a man about town.
Lee?
Yeah.
Without doubt.
He's a man about town.
So we're gonna have fun with buzzers and have I Love Charlottesville trivia questions.
Oh yeah.
Talk about
where's the only escalator in the city of Charlottesville?
Oh, dude.
See? If you don't get it right.
No. That's not how this is going to work.
Oh, how's it going to work?
If you know the answer,
well, I know.
You got to hit this. But if you get it wrong,
I would assume in the mall, but
okay. So these are one of the questions. Judah, don't spill the beans. Scott Williams says hello. Rosemary Postel says hello. Give the show a like and a share. We're going to have a good time. We're going to ask these guys some trivia. We're going to talk some housing trends in Charlottesville. Johnny Ornalis just shared the show.
Hey,
folks
Johnny.
in Charleston, South Carolina, watching the broadcast.
I haven't had a chance to ask Johnny this question, but how did their Cinco de Mayo go? I had a great conversation with the manager of Brazo yesterday, and his receipts doubled.
Did you hear that?
In 19.
His Cinco de Mayo sales were 2x better than Cinco de Mayo 2019 at Brazos.
It's not surprising given the surge we're seeing in
people
wanting to go out. Yeah.
And being
2x though?
Well, and he said it would have been more if he could have hired staff.
Yeah. Did you hear that? This dude said told Keith yesterday that he's offering $20 an hour. Back of the house at Brazos. And can find no one to work.
And the guy
got some ideas on that.
Hold it. Are we doing a show?
Yeah, we're about to start. We're about to start here. But this guy can pontificate on a lot of things, and I'm sure he could pontificate on $20 an hour and not finding staff at that clip, right?
Yeah.
Wilson Ritchie's doing a $50,000 to $70,000 executive chef position on Facebook and cannot find someone to take the job. That's nuts. That is nuts. J-Dubs, let's rock and roll. This is going to be a good show. Alex, get ready. If you want to give some props to the guests and share some perspective for Alex and Lee, just put it in the comment section and we'll relay it on air. J-Dubs, we can start when you're ready. Good Friday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk. This, an insider's guide to real estate life, the pursuit of happiness. We're live across Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love Seville network. We're presented by Yes Realty Partners. We're powered by Interstate Pest and Service Companies. Fantastic show lined up for you. J-Dubs, why don't we go to the studio camera, and then if we could, the iPad on Hollywood Squares on the big screen. Keith Smith, a round table yet again. They're on fire, my friend.
Yeah, and this round table is going to be fun with maybe a little bit of real estate popped into it. Just saying.
I love it. So for those that are only listening and don't have the visual, Keith Smith has brought 4 buzzers. These buzzers will be utilized in some capacity throughout the network. I have a feeling in a game show capacity.
That's right. That's
coming up later this month.
Later this month. This is going to be the little trial for that. We're going to try to, introduce a little bit more fun into real estate.
I like it.
Just have a lot of fun. That's all. It's
Charlottesville has too much inventory. All All right, so why don't we take a moment and let's go Hollywood Squares, J-Dubs, and you introduce our guests for today.
Well, I'm going to let you do that, but we've got a brother Marine over here, Lee Elberson, and his beautiful 7'8" sitting to my right off camera.
Not better
and
than 7'8".
Oh, yeah, we've cleared that up last night in our
100%.
pre-meet. But Alex, I do not want to mess up your last name, so I'm going to let you do that for me because...
Pretend like the C is not there.
That's it.
Really?
Great tip.
Pretend like the C is not there. Washora.
Washora.
Pretend like the C is not there.
Look, Alex Washora. Did I do right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Look at that. You know, with Smith, it's just,
Miller.
Miller.
Rock.
Right, and the first thing first thing Miller.
Let's start with Alex before we go Lee. Lee is a veteran on the network. How about Alex, an introduction to yourself for all those that are watching?
Oh, I'm Alex, as you heard before. I've lived in Charlottesville for about, 6 years now.
Cool.
Which is kind of crazy because sometimes it feels like it has not been that long.
Where'd you come from?
I'm originally from Silicon Valley, California, and then I met this lovely man over here.
Wow.
And after 2 years long distance, we decided it was too far. And I had visited Charlottesville many times and just fell in love with it. So it was actually pretty easy for me to just say, okay, I'm coming to you.
Can I find out? I'm going to ask the hardest question here.
Are we using the busters?
No, we don't have. We can if you want to.
Really
How does a beautiful mechanical engineer fall in love with a dapper rocket scientist? What is the love story?
You can tell
it, babe.
Okay.
I would imagine he kind of cracked the ice and broke the ice and led with some kind of comment or, right?
Actually.
Really?
Be surprised.
Actually.
Oh.
I'll give you the short version.
Please.
We both go camping, but didn't know at the time. And so I've been going on this camping trip for like 40 some odd years. We always go to the same place, same time, see the same people. And I got up there and everyone was having a barbecue and I bumped into a friend, spilled my drink all over the place, and just kind of was like, someone hold this. And the someone was Lee. And I had heard about him through a friend like a few minutes before, and he was like, hey, I have this guy you have to meet. I'm like, I'm seeing somebody else right now. He's like, no, he's like super nerdy, and he's kind of shy, so I don't think he would introduce himself to you, but he's really smart, and you're really smart, and I think you guys might get along.
Okay.
I'm like, who is he trying to set me up with? And sure enough, eye contact, I was like, this must be who he's talking about, because I know everybody else here, and I said, you know what, can I buy you a drink?
Bam. She started it, and the rest is pretty much history.
So the cape over the mud puddle was actually you holding a spilled cup,
Yeah.
right?
That's
That's
it.
what it was. And
Yeah.
then the rest is history, Keith Smith.
I couldn't get past shy because that.
No, shy and nerdy.
Shy and
The
nerdy.
nerd-
Okay, I'll take the nerdy.
The
I'll take
nerdy
the nerdy
I
label
get.
for sure. The shy part, I was like, I don't know who this guy thought he was
yeah.
talking about. No.
I think you were just being nice, Alex. There was no shy involved in that, in whatsoever. But 2 years long distance dating.
Yes.
Good for you guys.
Yeah, seriously.
Builds a lot of trust.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is like an all-time record for the long-distance relationship is the 2 years that Lee and Alex have done.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Virginia to California, too.
That's
That's
serious.
long distance.
Hold it. I have to step in on
Yeah,
this
please.
one. on this
Okay,
one.
because you're going to say what you guys did.
I was
you
just
say
going to
too much.
step in here.
Yeah.
You know, Canada, Bulgaria, a little.
Yeah, okay, you
Yeah.
got it there.
But when it was the Iron Curtain.
It was Iron Curtain.
Yeah.
But you guys totally win. Ours was like 3 months, and we are the 26th of May. We will celebrate our 35th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So when you see Yona, say, Dan, I'm really. Alex, when you see Yona, say, I'm really.
So you had to put up with this guy for 35 years.
35.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. So tell us about yourself, Leah. There's some folks here are watching that probably don't know you, so.
Yeah, so I am, I would say, a rule challenger by nature. Have always sort of done that.
I like that about you.
Yes, always want to push things to the limit and find out if there's any way to break a rule or a system. And that meant I naturally fit in
As an entrepreneur.
As an entrepreneur, not so well in the Marine Corps. Marine Corps doesn't usually breed rule followers, but Marine Corps was great for me. Gave me a lot of discipline in my life and helped me put in that structure. And then I spent about a little over a decade in experimental physics, just sort of developing my problem-solving ability. Spent some time playing poker professionally. Spent some time...
Tell me about that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so one of the years I was in grad school, I lost my funding, and so I needed a way to generate revenue, and I played poker for fun, played online, and then said, actually I do fairly well in like these medium-sized tournaments, 50 to 100 people, and so I would be in the lab all week, probably 80 hours a week, and then about 1 a.m. on Saturday morning, I'd wake up and go into the casino, and that's the best time to play because a lot of people have...
Or tired and drunk.
Yeah,
that's what he wanted to say.
Yeah.
Tired and drunk.
Yeah.
I think you gamed it a little bit is what you did.
Him gaming the system? No.
I played by the rules. I didn't break any rules,
No,
right?
no,
I just went in there under that.
He picked the optimum settings to run a business or make some money.
Yeah. So anyway, that was fun. But then I sort of realized that there's a difference between something you do as a hobby and something you do as a job, right? I think that's something everybody needs to understand. It's like you romanticize these fields a lot, and it's like, oh, if I have to do this to pay rent, it's not as much fun as I'm doing it for fun. So anyway, finished my my research in California and interviewed for a postdoc position at UVA, and realized then that after a decade of preparing, I didn't want to be in academia. But my dad was a third-generation entrepreneur, so knew that I wanted to start a business, just didn't know in what. And when I moved to Charlottesville, I was tutoring on the side and just had this moment where my head just basically burst through a wall, and I realized I want to start a business in tutoring. And that was the last, I would say, career decision I ever really had to make, is started a tutoring company, and then pretty quickly met Clay Daniel, and he and I became business partners in Claiborne, and have been an entrepreneur ever since. In fact, a multi-business entrepreneur, not as much as Jerry, of course, but...
No, I think you might have me beat. So
No.
I have 3 businesses. While I have a lot of LLCs over there, a lot of them are just for real estate ownership. So it's like real estate is one company, the podcasting network, and the advertising agency. Although the real estate company has multiple properties that it owns, and each time I buy a property, it's under a new LLC.
What about your professional racquetball career, though? You mean you have that?
Leah, this guy is all over the squash courts at ACAC too.
Not anymore, man. I'm on the injured list right now. But I've only got 2 businesses. I've got Claiborne and then 8 Hats.
I got you beat by 1 then. Okay.
Yeah, so you got me beat. But I do spend a lot of my time volunteering with Community Investment Collaborative.
He's the chairman.
So
We gotta get Alex in the mix here.
Alex-
Enough of Lee.
Yeah,
Much of this
but
guy.
I do want to go back to that because that's important about giving back. But Alex, you and I have been sitting here watching those 2 gentlemen
I know.
go back and forth.
Sorry.
And it's okay.
Sorry.
Now I know what these are
Yeah.
for. Shut up,
Yeah,
Miller.
yours is louder. Do it. Come on.
Shut
There
up,
we go.
Miller.
Judah's like, damn it, Keith.
Sorry, Judah. So we had a really great conversation last night, and like kind of a prepping for this, and I'm going to read something that Lee was so kind to send to me, and I want to kind of twist it a little bit to housing, but it's something his father told him on this. Find your happiness in your everyday action, right? So we're going to kind of get a little away from real estate. So I heard camping. What is your happy place? What is your happy thing that you, other than him? What is your happy? What do you like to do? What's your happy place?
I like putting things together. Ever since I was a little kid, I was the person taking pens apart and putting it back together and switching the inks and all that fun stuff. And so now it's working on the Jeep. I'm working on a platform for the back for our kitchen. And I just like putting things together. I mean, that's actually my job. I'm a design engineer for Maxar, and we build satellites.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's building things. It's a lot of fun.
We could probably
build it, don't buy it. That's her basically philosophy.
Build it, don't buy it.
Build it, don't buy it. She builds almost everything from scratch.
You can, Judah, this is a tough question for you. Can we take the studio camera and put it outside so we can get the Jeep on the show so we can see what they're talking about? because this Jeep is no ordinary Jeep. And she's building a kitchen on the back of this Jeep.
Like a slide-out kitchen, right?
So they're going to go on a 90-day trip next year and live out of the Jeep, right?
Out of the Jeep, yep.
Live out of the Jeep. So he's going to get the Jeep on screen for those that want to watch and see the Jeep. He calls it...
It's Jeep Vader. If you see a black and red Jeep around town with the red lights on top,
What is that in reference to?
It's a little franchise called Star Wars.
Got it.
You and I know about that.
I tried this on Tuesday and it totally failed and flopped and I probably should have prepped my guests a little bit. Hey, I'm going to ask some Star Wars questions, and I threw it out there and I looked around and I went, oops, that didn't go so good.
That's all right. We'll catch some slack. She forgot. She runs a Instagram channel for Jeep Vader, and she forgot to post on May the 4th, but she posted the next
Jeep
day.
Vader has its own Instagram?
Yeah, it does.
It's called Black Jeep Vader.
Black Jeep Vader. Look, Judah's working hard over here to get Jeep Vader on screen here. I love it, Keith.
I think our next step should be a shot of some alcohol here.
I tried over there.
I know you always try.
Yeah.
So pivot a little bit. A woman in your field.
That's good, Joe.
Let's talk about that. That's not a common thing, correct?
I think it's becoming more and more common. Engineering in general, you're definitely getting a lot more women. Each field is a little different versus like you have like civil and mechanical and electrical and all that fun stuff. But yeah.
So I deal with a lot of civil engineers, structural engineers on that stuff. But mechanical engineers, I probably think you're the first I ever met. And so you will have the permanent impression in my brain what all mechanical engineers should be and look like. So thank you very much for doing that.
This is the first mechanical engineer you've ever met?
That's the first mechanical engineer I've ever met.
Okay. Well, they don't normally look like this. Let me just tell you that.
I was trying.
I know a lot of mechanical engineers, and this is the only one that I know that looks like this.
I was trying to give Lee's wife a compliment, then I started rethinking that. halfway go, hold it, he's sitting over there.
Pat, and he's a Marine, and he's bigger than us.
Yeah, but I do not fight clean. So
Patty Dunn in San Jose, California says, I'm impressed, Alex, and is giving you some props right now. If you want to share some props on the show, you can put it in the feed and we'll relay it on air. What was moving to Charlottesville like?
Good question.
It was a huge change. So Lee and I, there's a 13-year age difference between us. So I had actually recently graduated from college, and I went to school close to home. And when I had the opportunity to move, it was actually really exciting just because I had kind of lived my life within about like a 30-mile radius. I mean, I loved where I was. My family and I were super close. But it was super exciting to do something different, to come to a great little town, which is super different than Silicon Valley, where I feel like people are moving all the time. And then you come here and it's a little bit slower. I always said that people in Silicon Valley, and I'm sorry if I offend anyone, they work to work. I feel like people work all the time. Here, people work to fund what they enjoy doing.
Well said. I love that.
That's outstanding. That's one of the things that I loved when we lived in Europe for the first half of the 80s. Work was great. We're workaholics, right, on this, but they always fit in some fun time and some travel time.
I have a hard time with the workaholic moniker.
Yeah.
Because while I work obscene hours, what I do, I absolutely love.
Yeah.
And it's fun. Like, so there's a lot of times I would not rather do anything else besides this. The one thing that I have found is racket sports that would challenge my time commitment to growing these 3 brands and platforms. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. I would challenge you a little bit there, Jerry, because even though you love doing it, this is Mental Health Month. And so good plug for that. If your brain is running at 110% for 10 or 12 hours a day, you're gonna exhaust. Even if you do love doing it, it actually will fuel that workaholic mind. I think a lot of workaholics, that's why they're workaholics, because they love doing it. So I would say try to find more time where you're.
Well, that's why I go to 3 Notch for our Minuteman Monday to recharge and refresh with you.
That was great. Yeah.
2 hours, all I need. Awesome. Not 90 days. This man's going 90 days with her. I may go 90 days too. You're going in the back of a Jeep. Tell us about the trip.
Yeah, it's exciting. Again, we both met outside, and I think especially this last year of COVID, I've felt a lot of screen time, and I felt the workaholic mindset a lot more. And when we talked about wanting to see the country more, my dad actually, before he passed away, gave us this national park passport book. Every time you go into a national park, they stamp it. And she had the idea. She was like, "Why don't we have a trip where we get to as many national parks as we can? We have such beautiful national parks in this country."
That's a good idea.
And so we decided to plan a trip. And then, to go across the country, it turns into 5 weeks easy.
Sure.
And her folks live in California, so we'll have 2 weeks there. So I think it's just going to be nice to just go out and really just enjoy nature and enjoy what this country has to offer. And so, yeah, that'll be a pretty long trip. And I am prepping people in my company to be able to do the things that I do. And it's not like I'll be completely absent. I'll call in, but it will be really nice to get back in touch.
So that's one of the beauties about being your own business owner, right? Miller constantly tells me, "Smith, you travel more than anybody I've ever met."
Well, I said that because it was COVID.
Yeah, okay.
I said it because it was COVID, not before COVID.
But
It was COVID.
okay, but that's why I travel so much, right? And I need to reset the vision. I need to reset that stuff because we all work. Mental Health Month. It's spot on to have this conversation and to go ahead and take the time to refresh your batteries and refresh your thinking. At least for me, anyway, to kind of get some vision going and how we're going to move forward. So that's why Yona and I travel apparently during COVID on that stuff. But a question for two of you guys. We kind of talked about this. Alex, I think I know the answer, but do you love what you do? Do you actually work, or you just love what you do?
There are times it kind of goes up and down, but there are definitely times where I absolutely love my job, just because what I work on is really cool. Especially lately, just because I got some pictures. Because with me being remote, I no longer get to go down to the floor and see what's going on. So I got some pictures and got to see some of the structures that I'm building. And of course, on the computer, it doesn't give you justice for how big it is that I work on. So you get to see pictures. It's like, wow, that's bigger than like 3 people standing on top of each other. So sometimes it's really fun, and sometimes it feels like a job, but it just goes up and down.
She's a digital nomad. We've been talking about it this week. Digital nomad, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good layer there. So
Yeah.
how much more do you think you'd enjoy your job if you were in the office every day?
Great.
Definitely more. I miss being around people. I also lucked out. I have some great coworkers that I wanted to hear what their kids were doing and catching up at a bar, because we had Fred's, which was the bar right down the street that we'd always go to on Thursdays. We always joke it was Building F. So yeah, I definitely miss being in the office.
But doesn't that collaborative in-person actually help problem solve, right? We're trying to figure out how to put one screw in, I'm simplifying it, into something. And, if you have Lee, yourself, Jerry, and Judah, because I won't put myself in that category, starts figuring out how to get that screw in, and having this one-on-one conversation in person kind of helps that along a little bit, does it not?
Definitely. I think it depends on the field. There are some jobs that do great by themselves, but jobs when you're really working with other people, you're interfacing with vendors, it's often easier to do in person.
Well, you're not just building a satellite by yourself, right? There's multiple,
hundreds of people.
I come from the development construction background, so you had at least 100 people you touched in a house.
Where's your employer based out of?
So they're out of Colorado.
Okay. Cool. So you're working. How difficult has it been to work remotely from this ISP? And then the second part of the question is, if I can ask this question, if you can use the buzzer, if you don't want me to ask this question.
That's your.
The digital nomad lifestyle, is this best suited for you long term?
I'll answer the second question first, because I don't remember what the first one was. Long term, I would eventually like to be back in an office.
Yeah?
Although I have explored working from Studio X.
Okay.
That was really fun. I think there's some more co-working spaces opening up into the new entrepreneur building that they're building, where the skate rink was. So those, I think I would rather look into those first, just because I do enjoy what I do. But yeah, we'll see.
Our office is in Studio X, and we love it. And it's, then I'll come out of my office and go sit in the cafe and work on emails or make a phone call or whatever, and you have this interaction with other folks. And then if I need a conference room, I get one. So it's perfect location for us. So we're at some point probably going to talk about real
we should.
real
Yeah.
estate at some point. But I'm just like super pumped that I've got somebody who builds satellite.
Yeah, next to you.
I mean, that's just super.
6 feet apart.
6 feet apart.
And she worked on a project for the Mars rover, is that right?
Oh, well, that was I was going to go next.
See, she never plugs herself.
So let's talk about the cool stuff that you're doing.
Oh.
You were on the rover?
I
The
mean,
one that's there
again,
now.
that was one of the like thousands of people who worked on it. I have like one tiny little metal piece. But
That's
I mean,
legit.
it's still pretty
No,
exciting to know
No. Let's
that
not glass this over, right?
That's a big
So
deal.
let me get something. There's a little thing on Mars.
there's a tiny little thing on Mars.
No. There's a rover on Mars,
That you
right?
created.
There's a little piece of what you created.
I work in advertising and branding. Can you tell? She created it.
I agree, 100%. And she's sitting here, talking to us. So thank you. That is really cool. So how long did it take from? I'm going to geek out a little bit. From this rover to get from Earth to Mars?
I should know this.
Okay.
Sadly, when I worked on the project, it was like a while ago.
Look, that's the point I'm trying to make.
So, I mean, I worked on it and I was still in California. So, I mean, that was like 5 years ago when I designed the part, I think. 5 or 6 years ago.
Cool, thank you. So going back to this digital nomad thing, so Lee, do you see the world a different place post-COVID? Meaning the workspace. Yeah, I know you do. So I just kind of
Prime me for it. Yeah, 100%. And we've talked about this before. I think we got accelerated into this digital nomad life and virtual working. And I think I think we went way past the point at which everybody feels comfortable and then the point we're going to relax back to. But I think it opened up our eyes to what is useful about virtual working.
So I had a meeting on Tuesday. It was a technical review committee with engineers, but not mechanical engineers. And normally, pre-COVID, we would drive to Fulton County where it was, and it was usually 8+ folks driving from different parts, and we ended up doing it online. It was an hour meeting that took us a half an hour. I didn't drive an hour and a half round trip back and forth. So the way I look at it, we saved the environment a little bit, right? We didn't have 8 to 10 vehicles driving to a meeting for a half an hour. So I think in certain aspects, I don't think we're ever going back. I don't think this meeting I just did on Tuesday will ever go back to in-person, ever. Now, certain things will, but so I think
Collateral damage of that, a byproduct of that, is it's driving up the cost of living in the area because it's allowing folks to work for Colorado firms and live in Charlottesville, Virginia, and potentially earn a bigger than area paycheck. And we're certainly seeing that. It's the Zoomtown.
Zoomtown, yeah, we talked about that.
Zoomtown trend. It's got a moniker now.
Well,
Zoomtown.
Zoomtown.
well,
A town that's being
Artificially, the prices are being artificially inflated by the medium income of the people that live there.
Because people are working for firms outside the area. Zoomtown.
So what did James, my brother-in-law James Watson, latte / Zoom towns, right? You've heard this before. These were latte towns. This was some time ago. But interesting you should ask that. So I ran some numbers in Charlottesville. Between 2000 and 2020, the average appreciation year over year was 5.63%. So, and even in the downturn, like 2010, we were actually up 6% year over year. So this trend has been going on for at least since 2020.
What was the appreciation in 2020? 11.6%?
No, so 2020 was 0.
Yeah.
Right, that was but 2021 went up 14%.
Okay, 2021. Yeah, 14%.
Went up 14%. But the numbers are different, right? It was the average price was 155. This is Charlottesville, single family detached only, right? Just kind of kept it nice and simple. That jumped from 155 to 180. Last year it was 498. So we went from 150 in the year 2000 to 2020. This is the average sales price for a single family detached home to 498. So
It's a hell of an increase.
yeah, but the reason I brought it up is even in the Depression years, we had like a -4, +6, -2. So we really weren't, I think this trend has been going on for decades. I think that's to the point that we're trying to make, that this latte town, or now it's a Zoom town, has always been moving forward. I don't know what the magic answer is. It's surely hurting affordability, that's for sure.
Yeah, if that increases faster than the minimum wage or the average wage in Charlottesville, you're going to have a major problem.
Or the area, the urban core, Charlottesville and the urban ring, just becomes an area for super wealthy, and the folks that are servicing Charlottesville and the urban ring will be living more in the outer rings outside of that. And
So you won't have any socioeconomic diversity in Charlottesville.
That's what is basically going to happen. And then we could throw this to you, because you probably have some experience with this, with what you saw in Silicon Valley and some of the areas you spent. Could you offer some perspective on that? And before I do, Austin Thomas says, look at my guy Lee from California. Austin Thomas is giving you some props over here. So we got Cali in the house, which is your influence. So how about the comparison to Silicon Valley and San Francisco, which we often say for Charlottesville?
Let's see. So, I mean, everything in California is expensive. I have coworkers who would drive in at like 4 o'clock in the morning so that they could avoid traffic, because they had to live so far away so that they had affordable housing, which, if anything, it's actually, Zoom has made it a little bit easier, so now they can work from home a few times a week, just because the idea of being in a car an hour and a half each way, you're getting up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to commute, because affordable housing is just getting further and further away from where a lot of the big jobs are.
What is the Monica QB did?
Fly till you qualify.
Fly till you qualify.
It's not drive till you qualify.
So just to put a little bow around the numbers end of it, I ran the same numbers on the average rents. 2,000 single-family detached Charlottesville, you can rent a house for $800. Today, the average is $2,114.
It went from what, 800 to?
2,114. That's as it sits today.
Yeah, so the housing, the cost to buy has gone up 240%, and the cost to rent has only gone up 115%. So it makes it easier. It makes more sense, probably. People are going to end up renting more.
If you can find them, though, that's the problem. It's even harder to find a rental at this point than it is to go ahead and find a buy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and that's kind of what we wanted to talk a little bit, is about, what does this look like? I know you guys are renting right now, and we had a great conversation last night that, in where you are in your lives, in your world, this fits you perfectly. And one of the things we always talk about with clients, it's never about the money end of it. It's what you guys make you guys happy. And right now, you guys are in a great place, and you're super happy. It's funny, after our conversation a little bit yesterday, Yona and I and you two folks are really in the same world, right? We're empty nesters. We want to travel. You guys are about ready to go do 90 days. So awesome. It's a pretty weird, not weird, but it's pretty cool that we're kind of in the same world at the point, because is Mrs. Smith watching?
I don't see her. Let me check.
She's
Yona Smith, are you watching?
She's in the closing. I'm good.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm good.
She's working.
I'm good. She's actually working.
She can watch this later. You know that. That's
evergreen nature.
So my between 60 and 65 year dream is to ride a bike across country.
Wow.
A bicycle.
My dad biked from Naples, Florida to Hampton, Virginia. My dad and my mom.
I did not
Over
know
the
that.
course of a summer. We spent the summer in Hampton, Virginia. Richard Lynch is giving you props, and so is Carrie Baker. We spent the time in Hampton, Virginia, my brother and I, and they went from Naples, which is right across from Miami, in southern Florida, all the way to Hampton, Virginia on a bicycle. That was his dream. A CPA's dream was to ride a 21 speed from the eastern seaboard. Gotta love those CPAs.
That's such a great goal, though.
You're very enlightened. I like this perspective that you're having with the detached and get out and explore and see things. And I like it.
We need it more now than ever. We have these devices that are just these black holes of our attention. Just they're designed to just suck us in more. So you have to pull hard to get away from it.
Well, I mean, I've known you for a while, and what I've seen with you personally, because of COVID, is it seems to be tremendous screen fatigue to the point where it's like forcing, encouraging, persuading you to completely detach and get off the grid altogether. Is that about right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's kind of a new trend with you here.
Do
Is
you
it
wanna-
not?
Totally.
Yeah, do you want to know what I was doing at 6 a.m. this morning?
What?
I was building Legos. No screens, no nothing, just like a table, something that's just very
You
simple.
woke up at
and
6 a.m. to
satisfying.
build Legos.
Well, I wake up at 6 a.m. anyway.
That's all him.
Yeah.
But like I usually get up, I do a little routine, and then a lot of times I pop on YouTube or I watch your show, and I think, I spend so much time just like consuming media. I need to spend some time doing something that.
If there's only one aspect of media you should consume, it's this 12:30 to 1:30 show Monday.
Hold it, time out.
And 10:15 to 11:15
That's
Real
the
Talk.
second
Twice a
priority.
week.
On Tuesdays
Wait,
and
hold on a second.
Hold on. Note to self, talk to Miller after show.
Andre Xavier says this, Keith, you keep talking about traveling, but you never call me.
Yeah.
Andre Xavier runs a travel company. He's trying to close a deal on Real Talk
I'm
here.
trying to talk Mrs. Smith
Into a safari, right?
into spending a substantial amount of money to go there, and that's
With a safari.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Go for it.
Yeah, we're yep. We have a little thing called a wedding that we've got to take care of here in a couple of months. Well, actually, next month. So we've got to get through that first.
Your daughters?
Yeah, my youngest daughter. Yeah, and get through that, and then we're gonna have to rebuild the cash from that and schedule. So, thank you for putting me on the spot, Mr. Miller.
No, it was Andre Xavier.
Two notes.
It was Andre Xavier.
after the show. So back on this mental health thing, because it's funny, Yon and I were having this conversation over the weekend, my wife and I, about we were helping a couple of real estate agents through a transaction, and the in my world the pressure is huge, right? The pressure on the buyer side, and we talk about this on the show. The seller is under a tremendous amount of pressure, right? This whole thing of having 12, 15, 20 offers that are all exactly the same, that are just have zero, and they're getting what we're calling, what her and I
Offer fatigue?
Excuse me?
Offer fatigue.
Very good.
Yeah.
Buyers fatigue and offers fatigue, and you're starting to see that. This is why I'm thinking you're seeing the market kind of relax a little bit. It's just a lot. But then, on the other hand, everybody is traveling now. Every person that I'm talking to or having this conversation, I'm going out for a 90-day across the country. We're going to go away for a couple of weeks, right? Jerry never goes away. He works all the
Jerry's
time.
going to go for a week, and he's going to think that's the longest vacation ever.
His head will explode.
My wife is going to Southampton for August. So if my wife and kid are going to Southampton for 3 weeks and I am alone, that is pretty much a vacation for me. That's pretty much is what it
Did
is.
you just really say that?
I'm going up there for some long weekends to Southampton.
It's always
It's not a vacation for you. I know it's not like you're going to be having like a bachelor. You're going to be fitting more work in, right?
Well,
that's
That's exactly what it is.
Well,
Squeeze
because
a couple more
because
hours.
I would do it, right? You would say, okay, I'm going to. You might go out for a drink or two a little
Oh
bit more
yeah,
often.
yeah, we do that. And now that we're vaccinated, Neil Williamson says regulatory costs at a whopping $93,870 to new home prices.
Yeah, and
Free Enterprise Forums, Neil Williamson. Do you know him? You would love his content. Free
You
Enterprise
gave,
Forums.
yeah, you gave. I read through some of his content.
so on top of that, which he's not calculating, is now due to cost of materials, the average nationwide has gone up 35,000. Of 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was like 25,000.
To put what he just said in perspective, a 2x4 before COVID was $3.
Yeah.
A 2x4 right now is $11.
If you can find one.
I mean, we're talking almost 4x on cost of goods on one 2x4.
Yeah, I'm going to go on the street corner. I've got a couple extra 2x4s and see if I can sell a few on. the
Remember in
block.
the beginning of COVID, it was toilet paper that was in
right.
Clorox wipes that
That's
were
right.
incredibly valuable. Now it's 2x4s.
Man, it's crazy. It's out there. But I've been in this business long enough. These are a bit cyclical. The real issue is not material. Material will cycle its way around. The real issue is there's no the skilled labor problem. That's the struggle, and that's something that that you just can't fix overnight, right? The markets will adjust a 2x4 one way or the other, but to train somebody to be a mechanical engineer or to train somebody to be a licensed electrician, right? That just doesn't happen overnight, and they're just not. And what happened in our industry in the Great Depression is somewhat what's happening with the conversation I had with the folks from Lampco this morning and Brazo. When the construction industry imploded, the drywall guy went to Walmart for $15-20 an hour.
Quit.
And he ain't coming back, or she's not coming back. Well, that's what's happening with the restaurant world. They're going out and getting regular jobs. And literally, the general manager of Brazo was saying, I'm going to pay somebody $20 to pull a ticket out of a machine, pick a tray up,
You hear that?
walk to a I'm just telling you what he's telling me.
Yeah.
Walk to a,
We're talking
picnic.
40K. Now, he's not going to get 40 hours a week of work, most likely. Well, he might if he's short-staffed. That company's short-staffed. But you hear what he's saying?
to a picnic table and match a number on a stand with that was $20 an hour. And my wife said, you might want to consider that.
No, she didn't. How about this question? This just came in for Alex. This is from Brian Fiesta. Jerry, ask your guest, Alex, if Charlottesville does turn into a San Francisco like you predict all the time on this show, what her take is on that. I basically say Charlottesville is turning into a white rich playground. And the similarities between Charlottesville and San Francisco are endless, including cherry-picking talent from the university. The fact that folks that work on the university are being pushed out and can't live near the university. I mean, firefighters, policemen, nurses, teachers, they can't live in the area they teach or work for.
Yeah.
You know what's next too? Homeless epidemic. You know how
Yeah,
many,
if it's
you know
gonna
how many homeless
follow San
people live in
Francisco.
San Francisco? Take a guess.
How many homeless people?
Yeah.
How many?
18,000 homeless people.
Are those chronic homeless?
There's about 40% of them are chronic
Chronic,
homeless.
Well, let's see what, I'm
yeah,
curious
sorry.
of her thoughts here. Yeah.
I mean, I really hope that doesn't happen just because Charlottesville is a great place, and you would hope that it would stay a location where you could get a variety of people, a variety of backgrounds, a variety of income, because I think that's what makes Charlottesville so great. I mean, look at the farmers market. You have all of these local businesses selling wonderful homemade things, and I think that if you end up with a really expensive whitewashed community, you're just not going to get that anymore. You're going to lose what Charlottesville really is at its heart.
Well, that's what this term latte town means. That's
Latte Zoomtown.
it's a latte
Yeah.
Zoomtown. Yeah, they'll look like a lot of everybody at this studio is what's going to happen at this panel. But I'm an optimist, an internal optimist, and you know, I've been working personally hard at trying to bring some diversity in the marketplace, and particularly affordable housing. And I will tell you, I'm part of this UVA engagement that they're trying to bring 1,000 to 1,500 homes, affordable housing units to the market. And I was in a meeting yesterday, and I was super encouraged, right? They're really, really, really trying to do the right thing here. It's a little hard for them because it's way outside of their scope of understanding, but what they're doing, not that it's me, I just happen to be there representing the Regional Housing Partnership, but they have every major stakeholder at the table. Most importantly, the people that we're trying to serve are at the table, which is super huge.
Andrew Parsons, did I give Andrew Parsons' name? He's saying
No.
hello. The problem is it's years away from now. I mean, we're talking, you said 4 years at the earliest.
So I actually brought that up in the meeting last night that I was.
At that point, this I'm going to call it an epidemic.
Yeah.
It's a crisis. At that point, the crisis will have had so much tailwind momentum behind it that it's going to be exponentially worse.
So our chemistry is working a little bit. So that number that we were throwing around, this 5.6% year over year increase over 20 years, I just for the heck of it said, if I buy a $350,000 house today, what's that number going to be 10 years from now? That number is $571,535. So that's just at 5.6%. And I said, let's assume I'm wrong and cut it in half. That 350 house in 10 years is going to be worth 456.
At 3 and change.
That's flat 3% year over year, just a flat 3%.
And then you get the tax advantages and incentives.
Sure.
Kelly Jackson says, I'd sell my house, but there's nothing to buy, so where would I go? And building is almost impossible right now. Neil adds, by Paul Enrath, April 28th, 2021, according to NAHB's latest estimates, rising softwood lumber prices over the last 12 months have added $35,872 to the price of an average new single-family home and $12,966 to the market value of an average new multifamily home. That increase in multifamily value translates to households paying an extra $119 a month to rent a new apartment.
That's exactly right.
It's a hell of a stat right there. The homeless trend that you wanted to highlight and how it could potentially pertain to this area.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're thinking that it will turn into the next San Francisco, that's what they're struggling with now. So if you're worried about that, you look at the problems that they're having now and then start looking at our trends. I haven't looked at the statistics, but I would guess based on what y'all are telling me that the percentage of homeless people in Charlottesville is on the rise.
Not as much as you think. So Anthony Haro runs the TJAC, and one of the great shout outs to him in the city and the county, they did something that was unheard of.
They bought a hotel.
In 6 months.
Yeah.
They got together. In 6 months, they bought a hotel on 29 and turned it into a permanent housing.
Free, no questions asked.
Free,
great.
Yeah, free, no
Pretty
questions.
Yeah. San Francisco's doing the same thing.
We as a community are ahead. Look, it's a horrible crisis. One too many, right? But
one homeless person.
That is correct.
And it's now that's not the preferred nomenclature anymore. It's now house. It's now a person without a house or a houseless. It's not homeless anymore.
So I had a conversation. Thank you for doing that. I had a conversation with Anthony, and I said, "Look, I'm trying to understand this and all this stuff." He goes, "Look, Smith." He calls me Smith too. Smith, it's really easy. All we got to do is find a house or a home for a homeless person, and then that's when this whole idea of purchasing a hotel and converting it into permanent housing. So one of the problems in Charlottesville with the homeless is we never had an overnight shelter, right? So they would the shelter would or the assistance would be during the day hours, but there was no permanent overnight. So it's a step in the right direction. According to Anthony, and I haven't checked the numbers with them, Charlottesville has like under 50 chronic homeless at this point, and this space is going to be well over that number. So hopefully we're going in the right direction on that end of it. So it's positive stuff, and I'll share some stuff with you offline.
Great.
What do you think about just allowing marketplace dynamics to play out? You're a free market guy. Just let the free market play out. When it comes to housing in Charlottesville and Zoom towns and digital nomads and just letting things go the nature of how they're going to go.
I don't think we should. Well, we know where the free market is not a perfect system. And so if you know what trends this is going to cause, it's not only it's our obligation to do the best we can to change that, or else you'll end up in a situation like if we think it's going to end up being a whitewashed town, and I say, I'm not going to want to live there, then I need to do everything in my power to prevent that from happening and try to make it more equitable here in Charlottesville. And so, I would imagine that most people would feel that same way, and there is a pretty huge volunteer community in Charlottesville backing up those efforts.
Same one for you. What do you think on that one? Let the free market play out. And before you do, thank you, Carrie Baker, who said, person experiencing homelessness, person-centric language from Carrie Baker. Thank you very much, Carrie Baker.
Thank you for keeping us straight.
We appreciate that.
Carrie's a former Charlottesville resident. She lives in New York now.
Okay. We have 5 states watching the program as we speak. What do you think about allowing the free market to just play out here in Charlottesville?
I would hope that there are enough people like Lee and like CIC that are going to come in and support all of these small new businesses, because yes, the free market is an amazing thing, but like Lee said, it's flawed. It'll eventually end up with a town where most people aren't going to be happy there. And I think if we want to preserve Charlottesville for what it is, we're going to need to step in, promote things like CIZ, promote things like affordable housing, so we can keep what we have here going.
So in the real estate world, there really isn't a quote-unquote free market, right?
How so?
So because there are regulatory oversights all the way across the board, right? So there's zoning. You can't build this here, or you're allowed to build something there. So
well, the free market with real estate is within governmental policy and regulation.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Plus, on the funding side, right, unless you're doing cash, there's regulatory oversight on how things are loans are done, appraisals, and all that kind of stuff. So when you use the word free market, it kind of implies that, hey, we're just willy-nilly, anybody does whatever they want, right? I understand the thing is, let the market work itself out, and that's what it does, right? But there are controls, at least in the housing industry, that oversees that end of it. But I want to pivot a little bit. I really would love to hear about CIC, and I really love what you do with that, because I don't think that gets out enough. So I'd love to chat. Tell me about CIC. Tell me what you do.
Talk to the chairman.
And one chairman to another, to exactly educate me as the chairman of the Regional Housing Partnership on CIC.
Great. Yeah. Let's also make sure to save some time. We do have some questions for you as potential home buyers.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And putting in that.
So I noticed you look at your watch. Good job on just on the time.
Like what you said last night.
Yeah.
The time is just going to fly by. So, Community Investment Collaborative is an organization dedicated to helping under-resourced entrepreneurs in our community, and we do that through three main pillars: education through workshops, mentorship through one-to-one interactions, helping people with financial management, even business acquisition. You have very small businesses looking to acquire other small businesses, and then micro-lending. Now we're getting to the point now where CIC just got its CDFI certification this year. We're likely going to increase our funding channels, and so the conversations.
So let's explain the CDFI to folks who may not know what that is.
Yeah. Well. Piedmont is also a CDFI,
yeah, correct,
right?
correct,
yeah. So Community Development Financial Institution is a government-managed and sometimes privately funded funds that sends out funding to institutions to help them build their communities.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and it's meant to through our lens and through most lenses, through the lens of equity. And so I think now what we're seeing is, the term microloan probably doesn't adequately represent what we're trying to do for the community. Not every business needs or can use a loan. A very small businesses would probably be better off with a grant.
Oh, yeah.
You've given them a couple $1,000 grant to help get them going. And
why? Because you're saying the debt services is going to keep them from growing, that payment each month?
Yeah, and I mean, it's also just, if you say the word loan, I would say there's a good percentage of people who say, I can't qualify, I'm not even going to bother applying.
I do not want to.
No, we'll give it to you. No, it's like, we'll work with you. It's like, no, I can't. I have all these, I just can't. And so removing that barrier and saying, we want to help fund your business. You are very motivated. You just have not had the same opportunities that I have as a white male, and that's part of the lens that I try to bring to it. So that's CIC's mission. And we also manage the Small Business Development Center for Central Virginia. So there's a lot of things happening at CIC.
It's interesting you should say the loan. Pre-COVID and for a couple of years, I've done some certificate classes, taught some certificate classes at Piedmont Community College about business planning and how to do it. And as soon as you say that word loan, people just freak out. They just, no. So you're spot on. A little bit of a grant would just help them kick off and get going. So how can people donate? How can people help? How can people participate in what you're doing?
Okay, so we're always looking for assistance. Obviously, financial support is great. Go to cicville.org. If you have any questions about volunteering, you can you can go to CIC's website, and there's a contact form there. Carolina will probably be the first point of contact. Our executive director, Stephen, is always intimately familiar with all of the programs. We're always looking for volunteers. You know, if you have knowledge such as understanding how to put together cash flow or understanding branding, we're always looking for people to volunteer in the workshops, and we're always looking for mentors. It's always great to mentor a CIC business.
He's tried. He's persuaded me in the
I
past.
tell you what Jerry does. Jerry does what he does
question.
well. Jerry, when I mention a CIC business to him, he'll have them on the show.
100%.
Yeah.
I sincerely will. And
So
you
if
know
you're a
I will.
CIC business watching and you want some promotion, reach out to us at CIC, and I'll make sure you get connected with Jerry.
100% we'll do that.
Thank you for
Fact.
doing that. I wanted to showcase what you do and you give back to the community. So I just wanted to.
We got to talk
showcase-
housing. We're in the back
And then we gotta
8
use-
or 10 minutes here.
We got to use these at least
Yeah.
at one moment. So ask a question.
So a question coming from Alex and I. So,
Our show's over.
yeah. Stop. Yeah. So just to give you some background for Alex and I, we very much value flexibility. We do not intend on having kids, and I would say, are interested in buying a house. I wouldn't say I have a driving force. Like if you said you can't buy a house for 5 years, yeah, I would not be
Devastated.
That won't. The only reason why I want to buy a house is if it will keep my stress level where it is, or even drop it some. My stress level is perfectly managed right now. As a renter, I told you this. I guess we're lucky we have a great landlord and a great property management company, and really leaned into the renter's life. It's like, oh, there's a leak there. It's like, that's a landlord problem. You know, I'll submit the ticket, but like I have my limitations. But now we're getting to the point where, you know, the Jeep was sort of a good thing. Like, hey, let's build something we're gonna travel in and live in. And it's like, actually, I do want to work on something. I want a house that I can work on. It'll be a project for me. So now I'm thinking it's an interesting time to buy, and I'm looking at the market and saying, well, it's probably ridiculous to try to buy now. I'm not going to be offering cash day of, you know?
Well, that's when skills come in, and we can navigate that. But and that's really like a back end conversation.
Yeah. So quick question to you. Knowing what you know about me, and if I had to say I'm either going to buy now or buy in a year, what would you suggest? If you have to just give me an answer.
He's
right
going to say buy now. This is a real estate agent.
Not necessarily, right?
Knowing what you know about me.
Yeah, and that's a great question. And you just said something that if it was said yesterday, I missed it, right? One of the things about owning a home is you know, we can talk numbers and appreciation and all that great stuff, but there's this feeling of mine. It's ours. Right, and I can go out in the backyard and build a shed, or I can, hey, I want to change the color. I don't have to ask permission for anything like that. And we are all motivated and driven folks. So there's these emotional components of owning or buying. And Jerry and I have this conversation all the time. I will tell you, if somebody's selling their house or buying their house, everybody thinks it's about money. It's always about emotions. It's always about how does it feel, right? And if it feels right for you, then now's the time to do it, right? If it doesn't, then that's cool. Then it doesn't, right? I mean, we can talk numbers all day long and say if you buy now and this appreciation and blah, 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 blah.
I'd sell my house tomorrow.
I know you would.
I'd sell it yesterday.
So would Mrs. Miller
No,
sell it?
I mean, that's
Yeah.
that's my, I have to persuade her. I'm close to persuading her, and
Yeah.
I'm at the 2-year marker from a capital gains exposure.
Yeah.
That's March 28th. I'd like to put it on the market March 28th.
Yeah, and
I think it'd sell immediately.
yeah, and that's what works for you, right? And what works for Lee and Alex may be different, and that's part of what we do every day. I remember this. Was 19 years old, sitting at a bar with the U.S. ambassador on one side and the British ambassador on the other side of me, and they looked at me and they said, you know, what makes us really good at what we do, being diplomats, is trying to understand the other side and communicate with the other side in a way that they understand it, not the way I understand it, right? So if I'm having a conversation with Mr. Miller about buying or selling, I pretty much know the path that I need to take in that conversation,
Right.
and help him what he has to do. We're getting to know each other a lot better. Right? And this isn't about money with you, right? This is about lifestyle with
Quality
you.
of life.
Quality of life. And that's cool. And if we can find something that fits that, great. If not, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
Quick follow-up question, something we wonder. Why is it so hard to find a garage in Charlottesville?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
What is that?
I apologize. I didn't hear that.
Garage.
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 Well, I missed the first half of
Why
that.
is it hard?
Why
to
is
find
it
a
so
garage?
hard to find a garage in Charlottesville?
Yeah, it's hard.
You want a garage where you can work on stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially with the Jeep. I mean, we love being able to take the top off.
Yeah.
But it was one thing in California, you could leave the car with the top off for days. It'd be totally fine.
Right.
You come here, you have humidity and bugs and all of that stuff.
Well,
and every night you have to zip everything back up. And without a garage, it's kind of a pain.
Yeah.
So it's funny.
Do you have a garage?
I do.
In Keswick, yeah.
I do.
So you would be funny to say that. Mrs. Smith is trying to talk Mr. Smith into moving for a bunch of years. And she wants to move into Charlottesville. And that's my thing. I said, where am I going to put my stuff? I need stuff, right? Where my stuff going to go? I need a garage.
What if you guys went and you like to, I'm just getting to know you. I know you fairly well.
Are you going to try to sell us your house right now?
No, I am not. I don't think mine would be a good fit because it's too far. How about super dope penthouse condo around the downtown mall where you don't have to worry about the lawn maintenance. There's a garage feature over there where you can store it. Now it's kind of a shared garage for the entire building. You don't have to worry about any outside stuff. You want standalone?
But the garage.
We like standalone.
We like
We love to
standalone.
entertain.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I invite you to our parties. We
Yeah.
like to have a lot of barbecues and parties, and so
Okay.
we like to have a lot of
But
yard
the
space.
garage isn't for the car. The garage is
for her to work on stuff.
to
and
build
her to work on
stuff.
right?
right?
I mean,
And
it's
the
a little
car.
bit of both.
Yeah.
It'd be, yeah.
Gotcha.
Was you pull the car out, then you work on your stuff.
No,
You-
Do you want to stay in the city?
Can we get a 2-car garage in the city? Did they even have one?
Good luck with that, dog. Do you want to stay in the city?
You're making
Of
my
Charlottesville?
job.
Yeah, we love living in Charlottesville.
That's nice.
Yeah, the bottom line answer to the question, money's always an important conversation to have, right? But it as I think we said on the phone yesterday, the real estate's 5 things: location. That's pretty self-explanatory. Price, which is self-explanatory. Features. Right now, we're saying I need a 2-car garage, right? And where am I going to find that? Conditions.
In a backyard for a cookout.
Right, backyard for a condition. And then the 5th one that I've added is time, right? So maybe the time isn't right for you guys. And that's cool. And then when the time is right, then we start putting the rest of the puzzle together, and we'll eventually get there. It just takes a little bit of patience and time and skill, and we'll get there. But if the time isn't right, then the time isn't right.
What I'm hearing from you, from a numbers guy, is that mathematically, you're certainly promoting your business, but you're telling me, and maybe I'm interpreting this wrong, is that you're probably predicting that interest rates are going to go up.
It will.
And the value of the house is also going to go up.
Yep.
So mathematically,
That's the reason why you should do it.
Yeah, but
So I'm not trying to talk you into anything
Yeah.
that you're not comfortable with, but from a math perspective.
okay, you're looking at an aggregate though, right? Does every single house's value increase?
I mean, I would say this.
That was an average. The numbers I was quoting was average.
Was
Yeah.
that average locally?
Just Charlottesville.
Just
Yeah.
Charlottesville. I mean, that's a pretty good
Yeah,
KPI right there.
So the point I was trying to make is
Right, that's what you boil it down to.
Yeah, that's a KPI. Don't you think?
So the point I was trying to look at so the other stat is the average homeowner now stays in their house 9 to 10 years. Used to be 5 to 7, and that's the reason why I broke down the 10-year average. So if you're going to buy something, more than likely you're going to stay in the home for 10 years. That's kind of the current average at this particular point. But the reason I did the 20 is I wanted to include this depression years.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm glad you did that.
And I wanted to see, okay, what does it look like a 20-year average?
You included 08, 09, 2010.
I went from 2000 to
Yeah, that's legit.
Yeah,
That's a good
so-
sample.
So, that number spit out at 5.6. Even if you lower it at 3 and I'm half wrong,
That's startling
yeah.
ROI.
Yeah.
Don't
Now,
you think?
the interesting thing is you start going in the surrounding counties, those numbers drop.
Of course.
If your primary motivation is that you're trying to build equity and you're trying to increase your wealth, from that standpoint, if you have a different primary driver, like, hey, what's my stress level going to be in
Well, that's my point.
And that's what Keith is saying is like, hey, look, it kind of depends on what that is. And the research I sent you said it is definitely not less stressful to own a house than to rent.
No, it's not. You still got to cut the lawn.
In fact, in some cases, more stressful.
I
So
would say it's more stressful. Yeah, it's definitely more stressful.
Yeah.
And it's this balancing act, right? And it's what's important to you. right? What's important to Alex? What's important to Lee? That's where we start with the conversation. It's not, what's my ROI and what we're going to do. No, us geeks will geek out on some numbers. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's what is comfortable for you guys. And if where you're at is great, cool. That's great. Just invite me to the parties, which I apparently am not invited to.
But Alex, met you.
That's not.
Okay, now you're invited.
Yeah, they just met you.
Oh, I've known Alex long
I've known
enough.
Keith for a while. No,
we know each
when
other.
you put together guest lists, sometimes it's just like just copy and paste the last guest list.
Yeah,
You'll be on it. Alex,
well,
let's make sure.
Plus
Keith and
COVID.
Yona get on it.
Well, then Quentin Beckham probably. Yeah, don't invite him.
Yeah, Quentin's watching. Nancy Gill, hello. Former Mayor of Scottsville is watching.
Hey.
Andre Xavier, hello. Thank you for joining us. 6 states watching the show today. I'm going to attribute that to Alex watching the program. Keith Smith, what else is on that brain of yours?
I'm trying to figure out how we're going to use these buzzers today and get a little fun. You want to ask?
What about the trivia question?
Let's do some trivia. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do
I have
that.
some go-to trivia questions.
Let's do
for
that.
everybody.
So the rule will be, Jerry, you're going to ask the question.
Yeah.
Whoever gets it first hits the buzzer and they get the answer.
Okay, so whoever gets it first is ringing in.
That's it.
Okay. That's
No?
what it is.
What do you think?
I think
Yeah.
that's good.
Right? Now, you ask the question.
I will. I have the questions ready to go. Guys, if you have any trivia questions, put them in the feed and I will ask them. Karina Moore says, hello, Alex.
Yeah.
Karina Moore.
How did she
That's
say
Blake's
that?
wife. Remember
That's
Blake?
Blake's
who always
She's
comes in?
she's a realtor in California.
Yeah, she lives in Sacramento. Yeah.
Yep.
She said, hello, Alex.
Got to ask her how Sacramento's doing.
Sacramento has the same housing inventory crunch that we do.
Yep.
It's a nationwide crunch.
I don't know if it was Sacramento or one of the Napa Valley. They were a home went on the market, and they were saying we're going on the market 48 hours from now, and they had people camping out.
Yeah, that's bananas. For the open house.
Like you would go get Guns N' Roses tickets or something like
Guns
that.
N'
Right?
Roses.
Well, that's. All right, go. Let's ask a question. Let's
All
see
right,
how we do.
all right. So you got to ring the bell before you answer. Ring the buzzer before you answer. No talking out of turn, Lee.
Oh, we got.
No
we,
Yeah,
talking
Lee.
out of turn.
so we
you like to break the
Break the
rules.
rules.
You like to
I
break
go all the way
rules.
up to the rule.
I want that. I'm going to go back to that rule thing. I don't know how many. I mean, I know a lot of Marines, and most Marines I know love to break rules.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
He just said the core and the system of the core didn't fit his break the rule mentality.
But that didn't mean we didn't break rules, though.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the first question. In city limits only.
Okay.
Oh.
City limits is the key. City limits only. Where's the only escalator in the city of Charlottesville?
He's saying not the airport.
City limits only. You can't say that. That's table talk. City limits only. City limits only. Where's the only escalator in the city of Charlottesville? Does anybody out there that's watching the show? Oh,
UVA Medical Center?
no, sir. No, sir.
That's a good guess.
No, sir. Karina Moore says the housing market in Sacramento is very similar. Is she in Sacramento? Very
Just
similar
outside Sacramento.
to Charlottesville. She says very similar. We have an agent in San Francisco that's chiming in. Thank you, Karina. Where? You too?
In the city of Charlottesville.
In the city of Charlottesville, where's the only escalator? You guys know this.
Only,
By any chance, is it like the bus station?
No,
transport?
ma'am. No, ma'am. That's a good guess, though. No, ma'am.
I'm folding.
Okay.
Michael's, Barracks Road Shopping Center.
Oh my gosh, yes!
Is that in the city of Charlottesville?
Wow.
City of Charlottesville.
Oh,
yeah,
my
the
gosh.
city-county line
Yeah.
is essentially at Stonefield.
And there's no escalators in UVA at all?
Michael's, no. Michael's.
Really?
You take it upstairs. You know
That's
what I'm talking
right.
about?
Yeah,
Miss-
we've been there tons of times.
Mr. Miller wins.
That's the only. Well, I'm just the host, so I
He-
can't
he
win.
knows things.
Neil Williamson said Michaels. He buzzed. Neil Williamson put buzz in
He's
the comment
buzzing,
section
he's buzzing.
and said Michaels. Sarah Hill Buchensky said the visitor center. No, it's at Michaels.
Wow.
It's at Michaels. Sarah
Great
Hill
question.
Buchensky and Neil, thank you.
All right, Jay Mill, next question.
New question. Are you guys ready? What is the oldest restaurant in the city of Charlottesville?
CNO?
Ooh,
You were second.
No, that was CNO was mine.
Okay, so you're also wrong. You were going to say CNO too, weren't you?
No, so within city limits, though.
City limits.
Oh.
Oldest restaurant.
Ooh.
10 seconds.
Not CNO.
5 seconds, Alex. I'm reading out the other sound.
Uh-oh.
The other sound machine.
Alex?
Three
I don't
seconds.
know.
2 seconds.
Is-
Oh, no, that's the burp sound effect. Anyway, the oldest restaurant in
Is
the
it
city of
Oakhurst?
Charlottesville is the Virginian.
The
1923.
Oh.
Wow.
Outside
Wow.
city
Virginia
limits
restaurant
is
on the UVA corner.
Is it Mickey
Field.
Tavern?
Yeah, because that's what I was
outside
thinking, but it's
That's the
outside.
county.
Hey, Lee,
outside city limits, yeah.
we're kind of sucking at this game a little bit.
Yeah, the Virginian restaurant is the oldest restaurant in the city of Charlottesville.
That's great.
All right, here's an interesting one. Name two, and I do not smoke cigarettes, but this question is a cigarette smoking related question. Name two restaurants or bars in the city of Charlottesville where you can smoke cigarettes inside the establishment. You have to name two. You obviously are going to get one. One is very easy, but you have to
I'm
name
going to
two.
just say Miller's and Rapture because those seem like those.
Miller's is one, but you did not get this right. Rapture, you cannot smoke inside.
Okay.
Name two restaurants in the city of Charlottesville that you can smoke inside. One of them is Miller's, the third floor. Can someone name the other one?
I've never smoked a day in my life.
Not a
so-
smoker. Wouldn't even
Double
know.
Horseshoe Saloon on High Street.
Is that still open?
I don't.
Oh,
interesting.
I don't even know. I don't know where that.
Double Horseshoe Saloon on High Street has a second filtration or ventilation system,
did not know
which
that.
allows you to smoke inside. How Miller's gets away with it is the filtration and ventilation system on the third floor is separate from the first and second floor, which allows them. You can even smoke cigars on Miller's third floor.
So do you remember where the old Riverside used to be on East High before they moved it?
Yeah, it was catty corner to where it is now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So why'd you bring that up?
I was just trying to give him a reference of
Reference
where it
of
was.
where
Oh,
it
where
is.
Double
Yeah.
Horseshoe Saloon
Yeah,
is.
yeah. I don't. I've walked by there.
Did you
plenty
ask
of
that and I
times.
didn't respond? Sorry, Double Horseshoe Saloon is on High Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like right before, if you're going down High Street
Yeah.
to Pantops, it's right before Cosner Brothers, the
Yeah.
body shop. On
Okay,
the
so
right.
after
Okay.
Jack and or,
Yeah,
okay.
kind of right after Jack and Jill. Great dive bar. Great dive bar. All right, new question. Are you ready? Yeah,
Okay.
go
No,
ahead.
no. You go ahead. I got one. I got a two truths and a lie I want to do about real estate, but I'll let you go first.
Two truths and a lie. Anybody have some Seaville trivia questions? Ooh, questions are being posted in the
Oh,
feed.
cool. Let's do it.
Put them on air. All right, I got another one for me. Get ready. Name, I got to think real quick. Name two restaurants in the city of Charlottesville that have wood-burning fireplaces.
Two would be C&O, and the other is South Street.
C&O does not have a wood-burning fireplace.
I know it does. My wife built it and put it in there.
But is it active and working now?
It was pre-COVID. It's
Are
a
you
Thule.
sure?
It's a Thule Kiwi wood burning. Okay, it's a wood burning stove. So
I don't think that's a fireplace.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I
what was
re-
your second one?
South Street.
South Street is one of the two that I was thinking of. That's a wood-burning stove.
My
That's
wife
C&O.
would disagree with you on that, but that's okay.
So, do you call it a fireplace? Is it
They
three?
call it a fireplace.
All right, so then there's three. I just learned something. So C&O and South Street. What's the other one?
Is it Lampo?
I was
don't
thinking
think
Lampo.
has a wood-burning fireplace.
No, but the oven is wood burning though,
Oh, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that
But that's not a wood-burning fireplace.
That's not
That's
a wood-
wood-burning fireplace for pizzas.
got. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm trying to get some wins here.
I mean, technically, Common House has one.
Does it have a wood-burning fireplace?
Yeah, right in the middle.
Dude, you
I
need
bet.
some more
So is it
research,
four?
man.
Is it four? Dirty Nelly's is the other one I was going to talk about.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dirty Nelly's has got that big one inside.
So-
Common House would. That's a good call. Well said. Well said. What's yours?
So
Fellini's is closed. People are saying Fellini's. James Watson. Fellini's is closed now.
Oh.
Yeah, unfortunately, I love Fellini's.
but it's physically there though.
yeah, I mean,
but it's not
a closed
open.
restaurant. What's your question?
So three truths and a lie. I'm just going to make this super simple.
I have a cool one after this.
Okay.
Okay. So whoever buzzes in first gets it. So, and Mr. Miller, I think I'm going to exclude you from
What?
from this because we talked about this enough. But if you wish to
No,
buzz,
no, I won't.
you can go
I'm
ahead.
very competitive.
And buzz. There's three things. There is a lack of inventory. You must have 20% down to buy a home. She's already got a hand on it.
She's got it.
And there are 500 houses for sale in Charlottesville.
20% down.
Very well. It's really was the third one because there isn't, because the 20% down, you can do that. It's not a requirement, but it was a trick question.
No, you didn't know. How you phrased the question was you have to have 20%
Yeah,
down
okay.
to buy a home. And she
You
said
win.
you do
You
not
win.
have to.
You win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those semantics right there. What's your question, Leah?
Well, I was trying to figure out.
Okay, so if you
I
start
like these.
if you start on Fifth Street at Wegmans and you drive straight and stay on that road and don't turn left or right,
Which way?
going north. So you're coming into town.
Coming into town.
Yeah.
All right, so you're on 5th Street. Wegmans is on your right. You're going into town.
Going
Coming
into town.
off of 64.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you drive straight
Okay.
on that road and you don't turn left or right. By the time you make it back around to 250, name every single street name that you have driven on.
If you're
Whoa. Try that again now.
Lee Elverson.
So you're 5th Street.
The man was putting Legos together at 6 in the morning. Okay, this is a Lee Elverson question.
Fire-
They're
and
putting
I-
Legos
Well,
together.
so
at
the-
6
the-
Hold it. I was
The
trying
sub-
to get tricky with my question.
The subtext
This
is
a
that the
payback.
street changes names, right?
Okay.
Name
So it's,
every name.
So it's
Do you want to buzz it?
It's 5th. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so he's
This,
going.
this is gonna have to be a team answer.
I think so. So it's it's your buzzer.
Yeah, we'll do it
so,
all together.
So it's 5th.
Alex, you help him too.
It's 5th.
He loves it.
Ridge.
Yeah. Nice.
McIntyre.
Technically, it's Ridge McIntyre before it's McIntyre, right? That's a split name.
Is that right?
Yes. There's a part where it's slashed. So yeah, so that's fine. Okay, McIntyre.
So it's 5th Ridge McIntyre.
Fitz, Ridge McIntyre. I think there's a transition. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
I think you're right,
I
actually.
think
Yeah.
he is right.
The only
Yeah.
reason I know that is I just rode my bike on that the other day, and I was like,
Sarah Hill Buchensky says 5th Ridge John Warner Parkway.
No.
no, you're stopping at 250, right?
Sorry, when you get to 250 the second time.
Oh.
So what's the answer, Lee Elverson?
Okay, so I think it's 5th Ridge McIntyre, John Warner.
Yeah, it changes after that.
My God,
Rio.
why am I blanking?
Rio.
Yeah, Rio, hydraulic,
Yeah.
and then you're back at 250.
I'm gonna have to ride my bike.
Exactly.
on
If
that.
you keep going straight over 250, you hit Rugby.
I just
Rugby
feel
Road.
I just feel like calling BS a little bit about this. It just seems, but I'm gonna jump on my
This-
bike
this
and
is a
ride.
very-
I'm gonna
it's
ride
a
my.
very Charlottesvillian thing to have many different names for a single road.
Yeah, that's
right?
so true.
Yeah.
Right? Keith Smith. Alex, do you have a question? Putting you on the spot over here.
Yeah, what's your?
Ask us a
Trivia
mechanical engineering
God.
Oh
question.
my gosh, we won't guess.
No, we cannot do that.
No.
That's on my pay grade.
Give me a minute. Let me think. Problem is, I feel like I'm like the one who's like lived here shortest.
That's
so
true.
my and I work from home. So like my Charlottesville knowledge is much smaller than it should be.
We got Keith. Do you have a question? I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who can name every county that touches Albemarle County on the map?
Oh.
That's
Every
a bit.
county
Yeah.
that touches
I'm
Albemarle
gonna
County on the map.
I'm gonna abstain from this.
I'll give you guys a hint because I'm looking at the map right now.
'Cause I know it.
You do know?
Yeah, well, you think I would know it?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 counties
Wow.
touch Albemarle County. Is adjacent work? 8 counties are adjacent to Albemarle County? That would work there, right?
Yeah.
8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a good question.
Babe, you want to try to tag team this one? Okay.
Sure.
Okay, let's see
So-
if we can get this.
Okay.
Green, Fluvanna, Madison.
Wait, you're going too fast. Madison is not one.
No?
Because
Orange?
Madison is north of Green.
Oh, okay. So Green, Fluvanna,
Yeah.
Nelson.
Yes,
Babe, pick up the rest.
There's another A1 there.
there is.
Another A1. Think going west. Think
That's-
going west.
That's a good tip from Smith.
Think going west.
You
Starts
help
with
him,
an
Smith.
A.
You help him, Smith.
Yeah. it's-
Augusta.
Augusta's one. Good call. So
Okay.
that's 4 of 8, Keith.
That's
This is a good question.
I don't look at a map enough, clearly.
Jeez,
Yeah.
No.
One starts with an L, right?
Louisa?
Yeah.
Louisa?
Yeah, that's 5. That's 5, Keith. So there's 3 left.
Give me some letters.
Yeah.
There's
Three
3 left.
letters.
Keith.
Brother, I just gave you 2. Come on,
There's
man.
3 left, Keith.
Which I've lost track of what we're on.
Yeah, which are the ones? Do you remember the ones you've said?
Fluvanna.
Louisa, you just said. Augusta, you just said. That's 3.
Nelson,
Yeah.
Green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got 5. So there's 3 left.
Are we counting the city as?
No, I'm
that's-
not counting that.
Okay.
You might have to finish off these 3 here.
Yeah,
Keith
why don't you
Smith.
finish them off?
No, now I've just lost it because the ones that I thought I'm probably wrong. So
Orange,
Orange.
Oh,
That's
Orange.
right.
Rockingham County.
Yes.
Oh, but that's like.
It touches.
Yeah, you're right.
And Buckingham County
Buckingham.
on the other side of Scottsville.
Oh yeah.
8 counties touch Albemarle County.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Sarah Hill Puchensky, Nelson, Augusta, Fluvanna, Green, Louisa, Buckingham, Orange. You did really well, Sarah. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You missed Rockingham County, Sarah Hill Puchensky.
Do you ever give away prizes to the people watching, like T-shirts or?
Well, do you want to tell them about the prize debacle? He said, do you want to go down that road?
It's 11:35.
So here's the thing. We used to do this, and we were incorporating prizes into Real Talk. But here's the thing. Getting the prizes out to the winners
Is hard.
is quite an endeavor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys ever give away gift cards?
We did gift cards.
We did it here.
You know, you can
Look.
do Amazon gift cards and just send it straight to
So
their email
the,
address.
the,
Well, we wanted to do it to local businesses
Yeah.
that needed a boost during COVID.
and that's what we did.
Buying gift cards for them, helping them, give them the cash, and then
And the tracking was extremely difficult, and it was
Yeah.
just so. Actually, the way to really do it is you do like a digital gift card, right? Somebody would get an answer right, they would put it into the feed, and then we can do like a
Sarah says she got a prize once and she loved it.
yeah.
Yeah. Or honestly, the Miller Foundation just needs to put a little lockbox out here, put them in there, and then people come by with a
There we
little
go.
code, right?
So what do you think? Were the buzzers a good
I
idea?
think the buzzers are great. And
Yeah.
I think the buzzers are going to be even better when we get the boardroom table here.
Yep.
Because all 4 of us will be lined up, and then the cameras will be right on us, and then all 4 of us will be here. And then we're going to hit the buzzer, and the camera's going to catch the intensity on.
Okay, now, Jerry, we don't have to hit them that hard. It's not like racquetball, okay? You don't have to just.
So that you know, I bought doubles of these just in case.
Because you know they're going to break. Yeah, the first ones that are going to break is probably going to be mine.
Look, I have to give this kudos to Quentin Beckham. He's the one that came up with this idea, and
Quentin's a smart guy.
yeah,
QB, we love QB.
And these round tables are great. We're loving them, but we wanted to try to introduce a little bit of fun into the
I
conversation.
think we did. Christopher just said we watched the show from start to finish. This show was hilarious. Well done, guys. Put it on the feed. Any final words? Ladies first.
Oh, gosh.
So how was it?
I mean, I had a lot of
fun.
fun. I've watched the show in the past, so it was
Yeah.
really exciting to actually be on camera this time. So thanks for having us.
So we weren't that bad, were we?
Definitely not. It was great. Next time I'm going for shots at the bar.
Help yourself. It's in the on your one shot. You can see it on screen. There's the bar behind you right there, along with some a messy desk of mine.
So what's the
apologize.
percentage of guests?
I'd say about 25% of guests.
And 100% of the hosts.
Well, if the guest says yes, the host has to
Absolutely.
say yes.
It's-
Because I would be being a bad host. Yeah.
You know, I'll cancel my entire afternoon next time I'm on the show. That way we can have a drink.
I'm down. I'm totally down. Anytime you come on the show, I roll out the red carpet. I enjoy when you're on the show.
I've been
I
out
very
of
much
Louisiana too long, man. I don't know when the last time I've had a drink at noon was.
Well,
That's a good
so
thing.
one of the co-hosts that are going to sit in this seat when I'm on vacation is going to be Quentin Beckham. If you don't think there's going to be a little bit of alcohol, and I believe you're one of the guests.
I play poker with Quentin,
Yeah.
okay? Trust me.
Is he a good poker player? After what you said about you waking up and trying to do professional poker, who would invite them to their friendly neighborhood poker game ever?
So Lee, I'm going to say something. I was almost going to say, hey, can you invite me to the poker games? Not anymore.
Why would anyone sit
No,
across
it's
from
so
this guy?
much
gonna
fun.
play.
No, it's a lot of fun. And honestly, it's one of those games where playing it more doesn't always translate to you winning.
I disagree. It's
It's different than racquetball,
No,
right?
I
It's
know.
a lot harder to get lucky in racquetball as it is in poker.
I would say anything that you practice, you're going to get better at. And you know that's true.
Jerry, just come to the game. You'll have a good time.
I will cut to the game.
Bring a few $100.
There you go. Should I give it to him now?
I just would write him $1,000 check
Yeah,
and
just
say,
give it to him
have
now.
a nice day.
We got to go.
11:38.
I know. We got to go.
Who do you got on today?
Carrie Rock
Oh, cool.
is on the I Love Seville show talking about Do Good Seville and all the money he's done from fundraising and philanthropic and donating to charities. Carrie Rock do you know Carrie?
No.
He aligns very much with your mission and your mentality. You should meet Carrie. I'll do a Facebook. This is the only man in the world that does not have a Facebook page. So I'll do an email intro.
Email intro would be great. Also, we need to get some people together. We need to have like a little I Love Seville gathering. I'm happy to host in my house, or we can go to Common House, or we can go somewhere and then just get together and just have these thought leaders in our community get together and think about how to collaborate more.
I think that's great. I think the timing on that is perfect. Just the whole conversation I had with the Brazo folks, and we had a little mentoring event at the common space over there on Cinco de Mayo, and that place was slammed. And yeah, so let's do it. That'd be a lot of fun.
I would love to do it.
And that's going to be a great interview today.
Yeah, Kerry's the man. Kerry is, was he Army?
I can't remember. I should know. I believe he was in the service. I can't remember
think it was
which.
Army.
Can't remember which one.
was Army.
But
Army's
he's a
good, but you know what it stands for, right?
What does it stand for?
Ain't ready for Marines yet.
Oh, there you go. Ain't ready for Marines yet.
We ended this on a perfect note.
Alex, you're amazing.
We're not
Thank you
arrogant,
for
are
joining
we?
us.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Keith Smith.
Thank you.
Alex, Lee Elberson. Judah Wickower is the North Star and the compass that keeps us online. This is Real Talk presented by the Yes Team Realtors, Yes Realty Partners, and Interstate Pest and Service Companies. Want to get that? There we go. Well,
Did you notice how his is a little weak?
Yeah.
If you don't think I set that up on purpose.
He messed with the governor of the buzzer. All right, guys. We'll see you at 12:30 with the show. Thank you for joining us on a Friday. Keep your money within the community, guys, and support
please.
local businesses, please.
There you go.
They need it now more than ever. Have a good one. Take care. Good job, guys.
Great show.
Yeah, man.